Shalom, my homies. Welcome to another exciting episode of Stacking Triggers, the spikiest podcast that actually isn't very spiky at all. I'm Dan. Bill, you're here too. I'm in your house. How are you?
Help me. He's here. He's coming for my eye holes.
I'm the only one who's allowed to have eye holes.
Dan, I'm doing well after today. Tired but well. You and I had some great times. I don't know if we want to do the schedule first or if I could just say stuff, but I'm just gonna say we played in an RCQ today.
Yeah.
We play in an RCQ tomorrow.
Yep.
We play in an RCQ next Saturday.
Sure do.
And a treasure cup question mark on Wednesday.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cards, lots of them. We're doing them. We're slinging the cardboard.
Lots of trading card games. Happening fast, furious action. So on today's episode of Stacking Triggers, we're first going to talk about the Spotlight Series, aka the return of GPs. We're going to talk about our RCQ that we just played in, plus I have one that I played in 2 weeks ago after we recorded that I would like to talk about because I top 8'd that one. And finally, we're going to wrap up with some ban list predictions, likely focusing on the modern format, but I'm sure we'll throw our hats into Pioneer, Standard, and Legacy if we want. I don't know.
I think Legacy's pretty much decided,
Yeah.
but like there's like a couple outliers that might see it.
Yeah. But we'll figure it out and play it by ear as we do that. But let's start with the Spotlight Series. So, Bill, I just showed this to you 3 seconds ago.
Yes. I've forgotten it.
I don't know how you forgot about this, but yeah, it was a big hyped up announcement from Blake and Billy Huey Jensen, who works on the Magic Play team, and it's essentially the return of Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
So, what these are for the calendar year of 2025. There will be 8 events worldwide, but I only mean worldwide if you're in the United States, Europe, or Japan. If you're anywhere else in the world, it's not worldwide for you. In fact, you get shafted, including you, Latin America, because fuck you.
Yeah, at least like in Europe, like it's easy to get to places. It's easier,
yeah.
Right? Like Latin America, their whole continent is now dry.
Yeah,
they've dropped They've dropped language support for them now, and
oh my god, yeah, they did. I forgot about
that. Yeah. So they've dropped language support last year or the year before, and now they're not even getting like a big paper event at all. Fantastic Wizards.
Yeah, obviously the fuck you to Latin America is a joke. I'm being completely sarcastic. It sucks. Like, there's a lot of good Latin American players of Magic the Gathering. And I know import tariffs are a real thing. I know that hurts like the card prices a lot in Brazil.
That's why Pauper's so big down there.
That's why Pauper's so massive down there, because Pauper cards are easier to get. So, you know, when you take a whole continent, and I'm not even including Africa. Like, I don't even know what the Magic the Gathering scene looks like in Africa
or Australia.
I think the Australian scene's pretty good. I know of a few like GP Sydneys or whatever. So like, you know, it's happened. But like, Wizards, there's not 3 areas in this game. You know, it's not just the United States, Europe, and Japan.
It's a global game.
It is a global game. Please service. They did say at one point, because it was asked, "Hey, we're getting a Pauper GP," and they just kind of went, "No." And I was like, "Boy, that fucking sucks." I'd love a Pauper GP.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be amazing. I would love to go to a Pauper GP. I'd grind Pauper again. But
Pauper Delver.
So Spotlight Series, it's open event up to a cap. I actually am mostly going to compare this to the SCG Con main events.
I would say that, yeah, because they're what, 128 player cap?
No, 1024.
1024.
Maybe even 2048.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. But prizes are much better. There are Pro Tour invites based off of you getting top 8 in these. Everyone gets a participation promo of a card from
The theme.
The theme for because currently what is announced are standard and modern. The standard theme, you will get Terror of the Peaks, which was reprinted in Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and for modern, it will be Cauldron Complete because it's modern, and that card is a Modern Horizons card.
Yep, a fun one, but also not seeing a lot of play lately.
Not seeing a lot of play. Also, Psychic Frog.
Psychic Frog would be a fantastic one to see.
There's just no way it would happen, though. It's too new.
It'd drive the price down.
Yeah,
no, it wouldn't. Actually, just kidding.
I just think it's too new. It's too new of a card.
Yeah.
Like, I would expect more MH2 cards. Murktide region.
Yes, a special version of Murktide would be nice, other than just the sketch that we get, like the sketch drawing, or the $3,000 version.
The sketch version, which I have, that's the variant I run in all of my lists, which are now like $20-something.
Yeah, they're going up.
I got them for like $8, so like, good job, me. Nice job. But so generally, the tournament structure will be 15 total rounds of Swiss, 9 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. To advance to Sunday, you need 18 match points, aka 6 wins or 5 wins, 3 draws.
Dan, we played 5 matches today. I can't. I don't know if I could. I don't have.
Oh, I absolutely could.
I don't have the fortitude.
Oh, I gotta be honest. Like to dip into it a little bit. I felt great today. Even after we left, even the fact that I had all my food was protein bars.
You had a lot of pep in your step.
I was ready. I had no caffeine, only protein bars for food. I was great. I was chilling.
Yeah. We'll talk about those.
Yeah. Later. But and then 18 points to get to day 2. 6 more rounds of Swiss, and then a cut to top 8. Everyone in top 8 will receive a Pro Tour invite. Everyone ranked 128 and
that's
above
where the 128 came from.
Will receive a foil promo of the respective card, whether that's Terror of the Peaks or Cauldron Complete, to signify what a great player they are.
Yeah, good stuffs.
This is exciting. I mean,
I'm excited. I have thoughts.
Well, tell me them.
Okay, so you're comparing this directly to a GP.
Correct.
I do not know what the frequency of GPs were back in the day.
Way more,
exactly. I'm hoping this is just a test to see participation turnouts, and that if it turns out really well, that we get them at like every SCG con or whatever. And it's just like,
yeah, I mean, that'd be fantastic. Obviously, GPs were before our time when it came to Magic. We came in around Kaldheim, or primarily Commander players, and I was a Commander player pretty much until
Popper time.
No, MH2 dropped. When MH2 dropped, I was like, I'm going to go into Modern. I'm going to start playing Modern.
That's true.
I started with Affinity, then I moved to Prowess, then I moved to Is It Murktide, now I'm on Demir Murktide. But, so like, GPs were taken away from us because of the Panini. You know, it happens. But I would like to be in that kind of larger scale tournament where prizing is a lot better. I think it's like $100,000 total prizing for the entire tournament.
Each event, it says a $50,000 prize.
Oh, it's $50,000. Okay,
mm-hmm. It was numbers.
100,000. But yeah, 50,000 sounds about right, because if you think about it, what is it like? SCG normally does like 10 to 20Ks.
Yeah, and like I know, like even Eternal Weekend, which is a large scale event as well, is like there's prizing the whole way down to like top 64 or something like that. Like you at least get your entry fee back.
Yeah, so I would assume a similar pricing structure. SCG, I didn't look at their website. I don't know if they actually announced what the pricing structure will look like for the one in Atlanta, but I don't know. I'm excited about this, and to your point, as long as these are well attended, we're chilling.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna get more.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see a lot more, and I'm hoping that this pushes Wizards maybe to reinstate the Judge program or a replacement for it.
Yeah, because that's been gone for almost 2 years now.
I think it's almost a year.
Almost a year, and we haven't heard. At least I haven't heard anything
Neither
that
have
replaces it. It was really funny at one of my local RCQs. The judge goes, "I'm an L2 judge," and I'm just going to be like, "What's that?"
That's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore. But I like that judge. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of support that Wizards needs to keep working through. I think this is a good first step, and obviously, like if you want this to continue, go.
Yeah.
If you can, this will bring back the grinder mentality, because
oh my god, yeah, the softies.
Well, no, because for instance, Frank Calcano, if you remember Pro Tour, Modern Horizon, or Lord of the Rings, he was one of those guys who would go and travel to each GP, because that was just a thing he would do. Well, now when it's just the highest level event you generally have is an RCQ. It's who the fuck wants to travel for an RCQ?
Yeah, that's really rough. I felt like the one we went to today was at my limit for travel.
I agree, because I also took a flight here.
Well, I'm talking about drive total drive time from my house to pick you up to go there.
I think you should go to Apex though.
I would need time to do that, and children don't allow that.
That's fair, but I think Apex would be a fun time. That's something I would like to do if I ever came back and lived in the area again instead of just visiting. Of course, Apex was, I think, last weekend.
Apex Con was last weekend, and
of course I time it wrong, so I don't even come at the right time to play. I would have 100% played in their modern main event.
They also had a trios event.
They had a trios event.
We could have had Brentley here.
Yeah, wow.
Listen,
Mill and Marty, I had to carry the entire team.
The whole team on your back.
The whole team. Greg Jennings with a broken leg.
Oh my god.
Only 3 people who the crossover between Magic and that specific Greg Jennings video.
I know.
Very small.
I know. Oh god. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope they grow. I hope we don't hear nasty judge stories, and that there's a lot of I think this is so in front on my mind because the past 2 larger events that we've seen, there's been a lot of judge backlash.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of emphasizing this. It's whoever the TO is and the head judge for the event need to have everybody on the same page and communication happening consistently and strongly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. I know that Charlotte, SCG Charlotte's coming up. That's definitely a con I'll be attending. So that's something I'm looking forward to too. Is that is the Spotlight series. So
yeah, I'm hoping too that as more get announced, I know SCG should be in Pittsburgh this year in the fall, because this past year was in Philly.
Yeah.
So I think they flipped between both sides of the state.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
SCG Charlotte was 2022. No, 2023. 2023. I remember going to SCG Charlotte. So when I went 1-2 drop, and then I played in Popper side events and dominated those because I was just a way better player than everybody else was in those events.
And you got the prof to sign a thing.
Yeah. What did I get him to sign?
I think you had him sign your playmat.
Oh, that's right. The prof unholy. Oh man, I still want to make that proxy so badly, where it's prof with his flamethrower as the unholy heat. Because I remember. But yeah,
I couldn't remember the actual playmat.
It's prof shooting a flamethrower at the academic, and he thought it was the funniest thing he'd see. Well, not the funniest thing. He's like, "This is very humorous," and then signed it, and I was like, "Thank you." And then we moved on with my life.
Yes.
But yeah, so bring on the Spotlight series. Go to these. If you can afford to, if you can get a group you together, begin the grind again, because the prizes are way better than the SCG cons. I know. Like I said, the 10, 20Ks.
Yeah.
And those don't fill up. So like these do need to fill up.
Yeah, and these are like Wizard sponsored events too, so it's gonna. I think it's gonna have more weight if these fill up than a 10K.
100%.
Also, it's cash prized. Like I know that the 10Ks are they cash prized?
Yes.
Okay, because I know a lot of the other events SCG runs, it's ticket based prizing.
The main events are all cash prized.
Okay, I didn't typically play those. All right. That's cool. Yeah, we need to go.
Yeah, we need to go. All right, so let's talk about RCQ. So I'm going to shotgun through my top 8 RCQ. So this is a 6-rounder, 37 people, cut the top 8, blah, 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 blah. So round 1, I play against Merfolk, and I'm like, I wonder what this guy's on. I have no idea. He plays like Aether Vial, and I go, okay, Force Negation. And he goes like, all right, Aether Vial again. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that one sticks. And then he goes, all right, Cavern naming Merfolk. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I look down at his playmat and it's Sveiloon, and I'm like, oh, I should have just known this. I should have just known he was on Merfolk. I 2-0 him. Let me tell you something. Main deck Toxic Deluge, great card. Great card. I legitimately could not see playing Dimir Murktide without playing main deck Toxic Deluge at this point.
What was pushing people towards Merfolk again? Was it was the Harbinger, right?
Harbinger, yeah. Harbinger plus Flare.
Flare, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Because today I played against one.
Yeah, well. I saw that, and I wasn't very impressed. No offense to that player. Round 2, I played against Nadu. It was a close 2-1, or 1-2, I should say. I had them at 1, and I had like 2 or 3 redraws to get to find like an Orcish Bowmasters or a Psychic Frog to pump my Murktide. Just could not get there.
Yeah.
Happens. Otherwise, I felt like really good about the matchup. I thought my approach was really good. It was just, they drew the pieces to beat me, and I didn't draw the pieces to beat them.
Yeah.
Round 3, I played against Tron. It was funny. We were talking with our friend Brentley, and he was like, I just got beat by Tron in round 3, and I'm like, don't worry, Brentley, I'll avenge you. So game 1, he goes, all right, Ugin's Labyrinth, Chalice on 1? I'm like, stare at my hand, and there's 2 lands, a Psychic Frog, a Preordain, a Consider, and something else. And like I already have a land on the battlefield, so I think I believe I won the die roll. I didn't mark it here, but so I go. I'm just sitting there looking at it, just being like, yeah, that's fine. I think what did it say? Consider Spell Pierce Preordain.
Yeah, bunch of one drops.
Spell Pierce did, but I'm like, whatever. This is fine. And I just go, all right, turn 2 Frog, and he's just like, okay. Land go or land Trinisphere, and I'm like, okay, here's a Force of Negation for that. And then I'm just like, all right, attack a frog. He's like, all right, I'll take 1. And I was like, I'm gonna ditch 3 cards
that would be countered otherwise.
That would be countered otherwise, and just slowly murder you. Like, yeah, my first swing was like I only bin 2, so my first swing only took him to 17. And then I was like, wait a minute, why am I not binning more cards? It's just been like, I guess I kept drawing lands and like more 1-drops. So like the next hit was like from 17 to 11 and then 11 to 5. And then he's like, yep, I'm done. Like, yes, you are. Game 2, I drew into Break the Ice and Consigned to Memory.
Yeah, that's just a win.
Boy, let me tell you what just automatically wins the game. Stone Raining your opponent. Round 4, I should say, I played against Nadu. It was a 2-1 in my favor this time. Boy, let me tell you what's really good in the Nadu matchup. Murktide. Slamming a 7/7, and they're just like, well, shit.
Can't block that.
Should I block this with my Nadu? No? Okay. Endurance, and it's like, okay, I don't give a shit. That's fine.
Yes, remove things from my graveyard.
Yeah, remove things from my graveyard or remove things from your graveyard. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
This is dumb. All right, round 5, I played against Mardu Energy, which is Murktide's worst matchup. Like, period. It's any energy variant, not just Sky Control, but like the aggro energy variants are generally Murktide's worst matchups. This is a win-in for me, and I choke like a fucking idiot. My opponent ends game 3 on 20 life. Of course, it goes 20, 17, 15, 12, 14, 12, 11, 13, 14, 15, 14, 17, 20. I'm like,
Oh man,
please.
he just keeps gaining more.
Fucking
and
die.
more.
Just die.
Was he on a similar list as me from what you could see, or was it?
I think he was on. Was he playing Marionette? No, he was. Yeah, he was closer to you because he was playing Thoughtseizes.
Okay. It's helpful.
He played Thoughtseize against me, and it's like, I'm Murktide, man.
Yeah,
I don't
you. It
care.
doesn't matter. Like, unless he wants to peek the hand to make sure that, unless it's turn 1 Thoughtseize, I think is bad against you.
Yeah, that's about it. I think he hit I think he hit Frog a couple times. I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think he went turn 1. I think he went turn 1 Thoughtseize all 3 games. So
turn 1 Thoughtseize against you is not good.
Yeah, he hit Frog in a couple of them, and it was like, okay, well, I'm behind. Like,
right.
The cantrips don't matter; it's the Frog that matters. I did misplay into it. He took Frog, but left Toxic Deluge, and I'm like, what an idiot! How could he leave Toxic Deluge? And he just had a way to play. Like, he had a way to play through Toxic Deluge. And I was like, oh, that's why you didn't take.
Yeah,
Toxic
I'm
Deluge.
wondering what his way to play through Toxic Deluge was.
He went like Amped Raptor plus Ocelot Pride, and it was like, okay, Deluge, and he's like, cool, Johnny, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Oh, after
yeah, he just held on to a Johnny.
He held back. Okay.
Yeah, so I should have seen that and understood, like, okay, my opponent clearly has an answer to a Johnny. Or to Toxic Deluge. I need to deal with their shit on an individual basis and make them play back into the Toxic Deluge instead of having them play around it. So, that was a mistake, and that was part of the reason why I lost the entire matchup. Round 6, play against Mardu Energy again in my other winning in. However, this is less clear cut of a winning in. I have really good breakers at this point. And my opponent is on Mardu Energy, like I said, and they're an opponent I've never beaten before. They're a good player. And game 1, really close. I lose. Or do I lose? No, I win game 1. I had to stare at it again. I'm like, my life total is 3. Their life total is also 3. Who won this game? I didn't mark it off. But then I'm like, oh, it has to be me because their game 2 life total is 22.
Oh my!
This is not a way.
Yeah.
In game 2 they go. They go fucking Aether Hub into Amped Raptor into Obnixilis, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
Well, fuck, man. Like, I can't beat this.
I love that so much. That turn 2 Obnixilis copied with Casualty.
Copied with Casualty, and I'm just like,
you either discard 2 cards or you lose 4 life.
Yeah. And I was just losing life because I wanted to, because I could. I just had to. Like,
right, yeah, you had to hold your hand. Yeah.
But yeah, that was so backbreaking. I could not. Demir Murktide specifically cannot deal well with Planeswalkers. It's a big thing with the 2-mana removal spell slot. We're looking for something that deals with Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
People have tried Feed the Swarm. People have tried Bitter Triumph. Neither have stuck because they just don't do enough.
Right.
So here we are, still stuck on that.
Yeah.
And then game 3, he goes to 5, and I'm on 7 on the play. So like
you have big boys.
I'm just way ahead of him. I Murktide him, and it's just it's not even close. Like, I'm looking at it. It was like 20, 18, 17, 14, 17. Like, he played a Flage on me, and then I surgicaled the Flage I paid mana to surgical Flage, and I'm like, well, I had the game locked down. I already had like a counter spell in hand, but I was like, this surgical for sure, 100% Stone Cold shuts the door. Like, there's no way he can come back in this game without this Flage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I win the game because he doesn't have Flage. He can't Flage me again. And we move on to my third energy matchup in a row in top 8. The guy who was first in top 8, I snuck in at 8. I played in Swiss the 5 players from the top 14.
Oh my!
My round 1 opponent snuck in at 9th. I played 3 people in the top 8. 3 people in the top 8? 3 people in the top 8. It was a tough tournament for me.
Yeah.
Being that 5 of them were in the fucking top 14.
Yep.
Including my Tron player opponent, who was 14th.
Wow.
And which
out of a lot of people.
Out of a lot of people. I lost 2-0 to Boros Energy. They game 1. I'm sure I fucked up somewhere, but also I'm looking at they ended the game at 23 life. They ended game 2 at 18 life. Like, obviously, I just
didn't have pressure.
I was not doing enough. It was weird. I don't want to say it was weird too, but like they had the static prison every time, and they always had the fucking static prison for your Murktide or your Frog, and you're just like.
And when you slam it, you don't have the counter.
Yeah. I'm just slamming it because I'm like, all right, you must deal with this, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll just deal with this. And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Great, fantastic. This is exactly what I've always wanted. Someone to automatically deal with my shit. I love it.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I got top 8. I got $60 in cash, and a top 8 pin and a Supreme Verdict. So I was feeling good.
Pretty good.
So that leads us to today's RCQ. Setting the stage. This was a 2 slaughter, which was not advertised.
That was not advertised. That's weird.
Not advertised. 2 slaughter. 11 people. $40 entry. $45 entry.
45. Yeah.
$45 entry. 11 people. So that means one person every round would get a bye. Bill, we'll start with your round 1.
I did not get a bye.
I know you didn't get a bye, but we'll start with your round 1.
So I played on Mardu Energy this time around, and I went against Boros Energy. Boy, I did not practice that matchup at all, because game 1 took 30 minutes or so.
Yep, sure did.
And we did games 2 and 3 within that 20 minutes.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. And we finished on turns 2 in the third one. But anyways, yeah. So the opponent was running the version of Boros Energy on some rings.
It's the best version.
It's the best version, apparently. I had only seen the ring like once, which was weird. But I ended up winning game 1. I didn't have a whole lot of notes, so I'm trying to just kind of remember what was happening. But when he mentioned about playing a little faster, because we're running out of time, I was like, oh shit, I am so sorry, dude. And I started playing a lot faster. I felt like I was getting a little sloppy. Because in game 2, I lost that because he was able to get a ring and then a flage and just like wipe my board completely. And after that game, as I was trying to sideboard things around, I was like, there's 58 cards in my main board.
Yikers.
So apparently what had happened was I had set a Thoughtseize off to the side, like way far away. Like he didn't even see it when we were playing game 2. And when I was taking my Thoughtseizes out for the sideboard, I took out the number that I had wanted to take out to meet the swap meet. But I didn't have that. And then I had also forgotten about Gigantha or something, like, because it was still in the companion zone, like in the top corner. So I just forgotten to like, oh, I should have 14 cards in my sideboard, not in my sideboard.
Yeah.
Not 15.
Interesting.
Yeah. Either way, he had won that. I had won the first one, and then it gets to game 3, and we had gotten like an extra like 9 minutes or something because we called the judge over because like I brought it to his attention that I messed up, and I just wanted it to be like properly handled. I was told, like, I reached my hand across. I was like, hey, I'm willing to I'm going to concede this. He was like, good though. And it was just like, yeah, let's just get the judge over. Cause I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter.
100% call the judge on that. Like, don't do that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think I was just freaked out too because of the time thing. And I just felt bad. Anyways,
I have thoughts on your opponent, but we'll save those.
Yeah. I was also okay. So, game 3, I'm on the play. It just goes how a normal energy goes. Eventually, I resolve, on the board like a goblin bombardment, and I'm swinging in, and this is the game he resolved the ring. I think. I don't remember.
I
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Either way, I'm fighting in. He's like killing my Johnny before I can flip it. But I had been able to chip him enough with damage and getting the flyers and everything that the Goblin Bombardment became handy, and I was just able to ping him for the rest of his life. So yay.
Yeah, I remember the sequence because what happened was, and your opponent. This is where your opponent was. So what happened was he goes, okay, damage, life loss trigger on the stack.
Oh, this part,
He goes life loss trigger on the stack, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's good. Let's move past this part in your upkeep. I'm gonna shoot you twice, and he's like, okay, so the trigger's still on the stack, and it's like, no, that's not what he said. You did not say that. You said, let's move past this. And now, like...
I was trying to ask if I had priority or something.
Yeah.
And like, the way he said that just really threw... I remember this. It just threw me off completely.
Yeah, it really irked me. I'm like, that is not what he said. Like, you specifically said, we're moving past... This trigger's good. Let's move past this. But what you should have done is you should have waited for him to tap the ring and then shoot in response.
He had tapped it. And then all of a sudden he untapped it. And then he tried tapping it again.
Huh?
Yes. This is like, that's what was confusing me, because there was like tapping and untapping and adding a counter and removing a counter. Like, I was extremely confused on like what counters were where. Because he had something that was like getting counters for drawing cards or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I was getting like really confused.
I walked away from that because I was about to like lose my shit on your opponent and be like, this is not at all what has been said.
And weren't there judges standing there?
There was a judge standing right there, and the judge was ignoring it. But like, you specifically said, okay, this trigger's fine. Let's proceed past this trigger.
Yeah.
You said it, and I was just like, that is. I actually said, I don't know if you probably didn't hear it, but I was like, that's not what he said.
Oh, I was kind of like focused in.
Yeah, no, I had to walk away. I'm like, that is not what he said.
Yeah,
I had to walk away because I was going to lose my mind. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I don't. Either way, it didn't matter. Ultimately, the ordering didn't matter. He didn't have whatever he was trying to look for, because like I don't know what he could have been looking for to try to irk something out.
Oh my god, lightning helix.
Like a Bowmasters maybe? No, he didn't even have Bowmasters because he was on Boros.
Yeah.
Like what are you going to irk out between your draw step and your upkeep and your main?
Nothing.
Right.
But he just wanted to see.
I
don't know.
Like I don't know either. It's like that's also what confused me too. It's like you're not going to be able, because I'm trying to do this, like, but like when I get that priority after you're done with whatever you're doing, between the steps.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to have all of his options available and see what all of his options would be, and that's fair. You know, the amount of times an opponent will just take a draw step and be like, "All right, now I'll concede." You know, that I think it was an elongated version of that. Still, that whole exchange regarding the upkeep, that angered me.
Yeah. So I snuck through on that one. That was really rough. I think it was just a mentally racking game because I lost against this guy in Pioneer. Because he was on Phoenix and I was on what was supposed to be good against Phoenix.
Yeah, I also played against him in that RCQ, and I did not enjoy playing against him from like an interactive.
He definitely seemed for the most part better today, because I remember that day, like it was like just a weird way to interact, other than that ring tap, and asking me to go faster. So as for me, my round one is essentially a mirror match. It's the mirror control, so this is rings plus Shieldred plus Psychic Frog plus Bowman. Boy, what a fucking package, let me tell you. That's a package. I love that package. That's so good. Game one, I assume he's just on the straight we're on the straight mirror because and I'm like, boy, I'm gonna lose this one like I lost the other one where I started on the mirror. But so I lose game one because he goes ring Shieldred. I'm like, yeah, we can pack this. So, like, I'm at 8, but I'm like, yeah, we can pack this up. I'm just not winning this game because I can't deal with both Shieldred and Resolved Ring. I can't do it. Yeah.
Game 2. So my opponent's life total goes 20, 17, 16, 8. I wonder if an 8-8 Murktide hit him in the face. And then he had 8. He's down to 8, and he has an 8-8 Murktide. It's like, yep, can't beat that. Move on. Game 3, opponent's life total 20, 19, 17, 15, 14, 13. That looks like Psychic Frog. 8, 3. Yeah, so it looks like I binned a shit ton of cards to Psychic Frog.
Nice.
And then just killed him with Psychic Frog. So Psychic Frog, good card.
Nice. Fantastic.
All right, round 2.
Round 2. What did I play against in round 2? So I won that game. Oh, I think I went right to Stu. Against.
You name dropped him, man. I'm not editing this.
I went straight to Stu on Nadu. Yeah. Just a matchup I have not played against, and so I don't know what to do. Particularly, game 1 he resolved his
Outrider and core.
Outrider, yeah. He resolved that really early.
Oh yeah,
and so like I ended up having something to be able to like ping it down. Like I just pinged it down with like dumb little creatures. Because he redirected to a Dryad Arbor and then he couldn't do anything else. So that's fine. But he still ended up resolving Nadu. He went with the Bristly Bill package.
Yeah, I never saw Bristly Bill, so.
Yeah, it just puts +1/+1 counters on stuff all the time whenever landfalls happen.
Oh, so he just gets like free Nadu triggers off of landfall. He doesn't even need Shuko in that spot. He just gets to put... I believe that's how that works with Nadu.
Yes, it's target. Yeah, you put on another creature you own, so he has to target another creature.
Okay.
Or on a creature.
Yeah, I haven't seen that variant, so okay.
Yeah, it was in there. It was interesting. Lost pretty quick. Game 2, also just like I brought in like Graveyard Hate, but my Graveyard Hate wasn't great. It was like Unlicensed Hearse, Rakdos Charm, which doubles if he gets a big board and I have the mana open.
Yeah.
I can have the charm have each creature deal 1 damage to him. He was able to establish his loop, unfortunately. This is also, though, like he wanted me to just allow him to have it because he showed he was starting to loop. And I was like, I need you to show me that you're going to be gaining infinite life.
Yeah.
At this point, because that's really important. And then like the next Nadu trigger was a stupid chord, and I was like, okay, yep, we can pack it up.
Yeah, let's pack this up.
Yeah, so I can't wait for Monday to ban the Nadu.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, my round 2 was Burn.
Fun.
Murktide has a generally good matchup against Burn. The only possible point that I was scared about was that my list was not running a single main deck Spell Pierce or Spell Pierce in the 75 at all. So I was like, uh-oh. Boy, I sure hope a Spell Pierce wouldn't be a thing that I care about. But I win game 1. It looks like I got a Psychic Frog down. And then slammed a Murktide. And then was just like, alright, beat this opponent. And my opponent had like 2 cards in hand and couldn't do anything. Game 2, they get me. Like, I don't know how they got me. It's because I didn't have like the correct counter magic at the time. I think I had a Stern Scolding in hand, because like I didn't have anything to bring in. Like the things that I sided out were Harbingers of the Sea, like because
they run basics. And...
They run That's it. We'll get to game 3 in a second. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I get them to 10, and I know I have a Murktide in the field, but like they just kill me through it. It's like, that sucks. I sure hope I don't lose this matchup. So game 3, they go, all right, fetch for Sacred Foundry, or play Sacred Foundry untapped. Swift Spear or Goblin Guide go, swing go, and I'm like, all right, I'll add a fucking land to my hand. I don't care.
Hell yeah. Get that land draw out of here.
Their next 3 land drops are Sunbaked Canyon, Fiery Islet.
Harbinger would have been great.
Harbinger would have been great. Also, their lands fucking killed them the entire game. Like they were just losing so much life because of it, and like Frog and Murktide just did their thing.
Did you see a Flage in the 75 of his?
No, I think this was an old school burn list. There was a bunch of people who came in the same car, and they were all playing like not great decks. Like,
Older decks.
Older decks. Like the one person was on like Demir. The guy I played in round 1 was from the same car.
Okay.
I think he had the best deck of the 4 of them.
Yeah, I think I played the other guy.
Yeah.
This round. Wait, no, the next round.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so like, it's burn. I had to dig into the recesses of my mind and remember how to fucking play this matchup. But it's easy enough.
Yeah.
All right, round 3.
Yeah. So round 3, I did. I went against Merfolk. It was pretty easy. It's
a creature deck. You have plenty of creature removal with bolts and bombardment and discharges.
Yep. He tried to trip me up on because he knew my mana base was greedy, so he like. Okay, so first of all, turn 1, game 1. Yeah, turn 1, game 1. He does an Aether Vial. And then in turn 2, game 1, he Aether Vials, taps a Mutavault, saying that he kicked it. And I had to call the judge over. Like, I explained the thing to him. I was like, kicker's a casting cost. Aether Vial is putting it into play. It's not actually casting it.
Wait,
Yes. He Aether Vialed a Tidebinder. The one that's like a Tide Shaper. Sorry, not Tidebinder. Yeah. And then he tried to pay the kicker cost.
Yeah, and sorry, bud, can't do that.
And I explained it to him. I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
And I was like, if you would like, we can get a judge. And
you 100% call the judge at that point. Like,
yeah,
you can't fucking do that.
Yeah, because like he was like astounded.
No,
like
that's like some kitchen table magic rules right there.
Yeah, I was like, if you read it, it says as an additional cost to cast.
If you read the card, it explains the card.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So he did that. I don't know. I had like a Galv Discharge or something, and like an Arid Mesa. I had Arid Mesa in hand, so I was like able to play it, get a basic, discharge his thing, and then do like an Ajani or something, and then just run away.
Yeah, Johnny. I saw him Tidebinder. You're a Johnny, and I'm like, okay.
I did not care.
Yeah, I never even played in energy variant, and I was like, who cares? Like, you did nothing here.
Yeah, I did not care. Game 2 was a little harder for me. I didn't have good draws. I did an Amp Raptor and got into an Obnixilis. That kind of saved me a little bit of time because he just kept throwing his creatures at my Obnixilis instead of me.
Yeah.
But I just didn't draw anything good. Game 3, I did some weird stuff because he did a Tidebinder or Tide Shaper again. And he did shut me off from white mana for a bit. And then like the very next game he played like an Atlantis, like Lord
of Atlantis.
Yeah, one of his big lords.
One of his lords.
And
his 3 lords.
Yeah, and I decided to take that out instead of the Tide Shaper to open up more mana because I didn't have any other removal in hand, and I was like, I'd rather just not be taking like 3 damage from this thing.
Million. If they have Mutavault too, it's 6. And
yeah.
It just gets out of hand.
Yeah. And then he had like there was some play where he animated his Mutavault, and I was holding Discharge just for the Mutavault.
Yeah, let's stone random.
And he had Flare of Denial and ended up like sacking his other Merfolk to save the Mutavault.
I think I saw that,
and I was like,
what a fucking losing play this is.
Thank you.
What a losing play that.
Yeah.
You went Flage at one point, and he sacked It was Tashana. He Tashana'd your Ajani, so you go Flage target the Tashana.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
he sacks for Flare, and I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Does anybody care?
It's in my graveyard. I don't care.
Yeah, like we got rid of the thing that was causing the problem in the first place. We win. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. And then like just next turn, I was able to just
kill him. You just killed him.
Yeah, I just killed him. Yeah.
It was like, what the fuck? Who cares?
I don't know. Yeah. It was like a Flare of Denial. Like, I think that's really a commander card. Like that in. Like, I can see edge cases. There are certain decks where it's good. Like you have like Gorios, right? Where you have that thing that'll mill a couple things and then return. Yeah. That's a perfect use for it.
Sure.
Like, well, if you get a thing back, like then you can just sack it because it's just an 0-3 blocker.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah. So I won that one against Merfolk. Guy was nice. Just yeah.
Not a good deck.
Not a good deck. Not a good deck in the meta right now.
They
can squeak them out. I guess
they can squeak them out. It's just like you have to draw exactly correctly, and if you don't, you just don't do anything. Yeah. I got revenge for you in round 3. I played Stu, who was on Nadu. Lost game 1. I was just like, all right. We got to a point where he courted for Nadu, and I'm like, okay. So he goes through his whole thing, and I'm like. He's like, I can get to the loop, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure you could, but like, I need to see you hit like Springheart and Tuco, because I don't believe that you can loop without that card.
Yeah.
And then of course, like the next trigger he has is like Summoner's Pact, and I was like, all right, yeah, we can pack this one up.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
We can pack this up. Game 2, I get a Murktide down. I'm at 18 life. It looks like Murktide plus Frog again. Boy, what a combination of cards. Yeah, that one's pretty comfortable in my favor. And then game 3, Razor's Edge game, like really, really close. He gets down Nadu. He does get down Nadu at one point. I have to long goodbye it.
Yeah.
So like he goes like target something. I'm like, all right, long goodbye, target Nadu. He's like, all right, target there, and then I'm just like, anything, just fucking anything, just don't get fucking anything. And so he's like kind of stonewalled for a turn or two. He bins a Veil of Summer at one point, which he needs to protect the Court of Calling that he's going to draw the following turn.
Mm-hmm.
And he even laments, it's like, should I have drawn it or should I have like binned it? And I was like, well, what was in your hand? Because you had one card. He's like, oh, it was an Outrider in court. It's like, you have fucking nothing going on.
Yeah.
Like I have a Murktide Regent, and you have 2 Constructs, a Shuko, and a Delighted Halfling. So like you win the race because you were at 16 at that point. My Murktide's a 7/7.
Yeah.
So like I can't win the game. So like you just have to like this is before the Murktide even got played, but like you have to like clock me. Like,
right.
You're at the point where it's just clocking me. Like you can just win through mediocre beats.
Right.
But I resolved my 7/7 Murktide. It sits there for a few turns, and then I finally draw Psychic Frog. And like, God. Good. I can Stonewall now again. I have a Force of Negation in hand with 3 mana available. And his last ditch effort is to go Cord. And I go Force of Negation to the Cord. And he's like, yep, that's it for me. I can't do anything else. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I win currently 3-0 on the day.
3-0, and I was 2-1.
Yeah.
So far.
All right, so let's move on to round 4.
Round 4. The start of the bad times. I got paired against Primeval Titan. That was really hard for me. Game 1, like, I honestly had thought I'd seen this player one other time at a Thursday Modern event, and him and his opponent were talking about his current Nadu loop he was going through. So I thought he was on Nadu, but didn't know that primetime. Well, I did know. There was one other game I played against a primetime loop with Nadu, but either way, he got his primetimes down and killed me real good.
Yeah,
because he was on the play. And then game 2, I killed him real good because he only had like 2 lands or something.
And you were on the play.
And I was on the play and was able to get really fast. Like I got him down to like 7 on like turn 3 or 4.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happened. It was just crazy. And then he was on the play again, and this is where he showed his Nadu, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, and him showing you that Nadu, very important, by the way. Actually.
Very important, yeah.
Continue.
But yeah, I was like, oh no, and he just eventually he wasn't able to go off with the Nadu because I was able to stop it, but that did buy him time to like, what did he do? I don't know, something like a ring maybe. I can't remember if he was playing rings.
He was not playing rings.
No, he wasn't playing rings. Okay, then he must have just been able to like buy the time to get the Titan.
I don't know. I wasn't watching that match. Despite the fact that I was finished before you every single time, despite playing a blue deck, I never watched any of your matches.
That's fine.
Really.
That's okay. That's probably for the best. But yeah, it's a hard matchup. Like there's some ways I think we can the deck could fight through it, but like you just have to be faster.
Yeah, it's called cut black and play Blood Moon.
That's probably, yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
We'll get to that here in a bit. Round 4, I play against Jeskai Control. This is actually normally Murktide actually does struggle against control decks because they actually can out-tempo you because they are playing the Solitudes and like the prismatic endings hit your early shit. Well, when the prismatic endings now have to cost 2 mana to deal with your shit, and they're only running 1 Solitude, well, your threats actually get to just stick around. So Psychic Frog just gets to fuck up, like, stunt on hose all day. You're just like they'll I'm looking right here, like he fetches down to 17, goes to 20 from Flage, and then I'm just like, okay, I have a Psychic Frog, like I don't give a shit. And like Psychic Frog eventually kills him.
Yeah.
And you know, he doesn't get the Flage back. I don't know how or why.
I think you surgicaled, maybe?
No, I do not have main deck surgical. This is game 1.
Oh.
So I had to have Harbingered him. By the way, my list is running Harbinger of the Sea or Flood Moon. So yeah, in a meta game where I'm staring at a Mardu Energy player, a Titan player, a Nadu player, a Jeskai Control player with these really greedy mana bases, that is one of the best cards you could possibly have.
Yep.
And interestingly enough, even against my Dimir Control player, considering that they were on Shieldred Ring, if I would have just slammed turn 3 Harbinger, I would have actually just won that game. Because I just assumed that they could just slam Murktides in response.
Yeah.
No, they couldn't. I think they had 1 He showed me 1 Murktide. I'm like...
One in the whole list?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I just figured you weren't on Murktides. And he shows me 1. I'm like... Who fucking cares? I don't care about 1 Murktide.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
I've seen lists with like 2 at a minimum, but like,
in my opinion, you either play Murktide or you play Shieldred. And
agree.
if you play Murktide, you play a more tempo based matchup. If you play Shieldred, you're all in on the ring.
I feel like Murktide is a tempo card. I don't think I've ever seen it really work in other decks.
Yeah, I've never seen it as like a control boss.
No, yeah.
Because it's just like...
It doesn't have protection. Like, once it's down, it's just a beater. It doesn't do anything.
Like, Flage is like the ultimate control top end.
Yeah.
Because it actually does stuff. Like, it can remove other cards. It can remove
blockers.
It can
gain you life.
It can stabilize your life total.
Yeah.
You know, it does things. But, yeah, so game 1, I just win because of Flood Moon. Hey, guess what? Game 2, I also win because of Flood Moon. I end the game at 20 life. Perfect victory. Like I'm not joking. Flawless victory.
Yeah.
I think I get down an early Frog. He goes like prismatic ending or not prismatic. Actually, he does go prismatic ending,
okay.
And I'm like, all right, force. And then he passes back to me. I swing. He goes, all right, purge. And I'm like, counterspell. And then he goes, all right, solitude, evoke solitude, and like counterspell again. And I'm like, you're gonna have to.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to fucking kill this thing, man. You're gonna have to put in the work. He eventually like Wrath disguises me,
but that like, cost him how much?
It cost him a lot.
Yeah,
he was just so far behind then. And then I get down to Flood Moon, and I have an Orcish Bowmaster in the battlefield, but he's fetched up all his basics because I had to show him the Flood Moon in game 1. I had to, unfortunately. So he fetches for all his basics. And he eventually gets to like Flage time, but I'm like, okay, it's Flage time. I'm just gonna Nihil Spellbomb your graveyard because I don't care. I don't care about the draw because I don't have black mana. And he eventually goes to Fairy and then bounces my Orcish Bowmasters, and so I can't ever re-fucking cast it. I'm like, can you recast? Can you get rid of my Flood Moon, please?
Can you Wrath of the Skies, please?
Can you let my dude live again? But I kill the Teferi and then just start hitting him, and then he's just dead, you know. So yeah, I win that. I am 4-0 at this point. With 5 rounds and a cut to top 4, I am guaranteed to be in the top 4.
Yep. So
quickly going on to on round 5, I was really hoping to scoop this guy in because there were two 2/1s.
Yep.
There's like 5 2/1 or 4 2/1s. I played one of them, so he's 2/2. Another one I had already played, which is Stu. He went to 3/1. And then his opponent was a pair down. It was a 1/2 opponent. So I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about that person.
Mm-hmm.
So you and your round 4 opponent,
we were tied. He was 4th
tied.
and I was 5th.
You guys were tied. So I had to. So whoever won that match was going to play me. Yeah. And I was just going to scoop 2 for round 5 to just let them in top 5 in the top 4.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was you. It was not you. It was your opponent. So technically a loss, but also it's not
my previous opponent.
Yeah, your previous opponent being the Titan player.
Yeah.
So yeah, technically a loss for me. Not really a loss for me.
You got to go and get some food.
I got to go and get a protein bar, go to the bathroom, get a cherry Coke Zero, so I could actually get some caffeine in my
caffeine.
System. Yeah. Talk about your round 5.
Yeah, my round 5 was against your Jeskai control player. He 2-0'd me. Yeah,
he sure did.
He sure did. Game 1, I think, was kind of close. Like yes. I got his life down to probably about 6. And then I want to say he wrathed.
That sounds right.
Wrath Disguise, and I couldn't recover. And then game 2 was bad. Game 2,
I was back in time for this, by the way. I was very upset.
Yeah. This is just I think I was just really tired and wasn't thinking through stuff. Because I had brought in, what did I bring? I brought in a hearse. I brought in Rakdos Charms as well, as graveyard hate. It's not great, but
it's fine.
If I needed it, I did it. And the hand I kept was an Ocelot Pride, a Bombardment, and I think a Hearst.
Yeah, a Hearst, and then 4 lands.
And 4 lands.
You kept that hand.
I kept that hand.
And I was just like
it was not a very aggro hand when it needed to be an aggro hand.
Yeah, you're playing against control. Like, force them to use. Force them to neg themselves.
Yep.
To make plays, and you just could not do that.
Yeah.
And then they just got to sit around and do nothing.
They got to sit and do nothing. And I also sat and do nothing because I proceeded to draw that was 4 lands. I proceeded to draw an additional 7 lands.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like you win the game if you mulligan that hand, but that's 100%.
It would have been a different game.
That's the most mulligan hand I've ever seen in my entire life. 4 lands in an aggro deck? No.
Yeah. It was a bad call. The Hearst, like, I think delayed Flage a little bit.
We wrathed immediately after you played the Hearse. He wrathed and killed it. So like, because you also static prisoned at one point.
Yes, I did static prison a ring.
He static prisoned a ring and got the Hearse, and then it was just like, okay, who cares?
Wrath is a very good like an amazing card, Wrath of the Skies.
Really good. So yeah, like he was like, I don't care, you know.
Yeah. It was like game one definitely felt a lot better. I should have done more aggro-y things. I've been up since 6 this morning. I'm tired.
That's fine. Yeah, I was upset for you. I was like, this was such an easy win, or not an easy win, but this was such an easy mulligan. Like that's such a massive mistake. For you to make.
I think my thought process was like, oh, this is a lot of lands. I should be like getting some gas. Nope, only lands. So much real estate. They call me Donald Trump.
Jesus. All right, so we finalize at so what?
Okay.
So 2 things to this. One, we had to go off of tournament software because the event link would only allow the RCQ to have 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Which was funny because me and Stu in round 3 were like, Stu was like, "Hey, do you want to draw?" And I'm like,
I would, but I think there's 5.
But we have 5 rounds. And he's like, "Wait, what?" And it's like, "We have 5 rounds." I'm like, and the judge is like, "Yep, 5 rounds." It's like, "Oh no, we're fucking playing this out." I'm like, yeah, of course we are. Of course we're playing this out. So with a top 4 cut, I'm automatically in. Your Titan opponent that I play or that I scooped in is automatically in at 4-1 as well. Stu was in at 4-1, and then the Jess guy opponent.
He was in because he won against me.
He beat you, and he had God tier breakers.
Yep.
There.
He had what, a
75% opponent win percentage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And most of that was me.
Yeah,
because I was technically 4-1, even though it was 4-0, really.
Yeah,
but whatever. So after a lot of math, because it has to be hand done because it's off the tournament software.
Yeah, you guys spent 15 minutes figuring out
who played who.
First order, and then of who played who, and then it was who got on the play, right?
Yeah. So first and second would be automatically on the play. So it was like, do I play if we played finals? If I got into finals with exactly Stu, he'd get play draw order.
I see. So
that was you have to order it because it goes first is always play draw, second gets play draw against third, and fourth. So it that is important.
Yeah.
The Titan opponent having a 41% opponent match win percentage, huge because Stu and I tied in opponent match win percentage. We had to go to second breakers, or actually third breakers, because technically first breakers are points. Then you have your match win percentage. Then you have opponent's match win percentage. Then you have your game win percentage.
Yeah, you guys had to look at so many numbers,
and it was minute percentage points between us. So I have to play against your Titan opponent. And thankfully, we talked after your match, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to play him in top 8. In top 4. What's going on there? And you were like, yeah, he's playing Titan. He's got Nadu too. And I'm like, so what are the supporting creatures? You're like, oh, he has Amulet. He has Arboreal Grazer.
I didn't see Arboreal Grazer once.
I saw it on somebody else's game.
Yeah.
And then, he has Dryad. I'm like, okay, so he's just a Titan deck with Nadu. So I'm just going to play this like a Titan deck.
Yeah.
And I have to dig back into the recesses of my mind. Because there's 4 or 5 Titan players in my area. So I've played them all, and I know how to fucking play the matchup.
Yeah.
But game 1, I lose. It's not really even close. He gets to mirror pool Hanvar Battlements with a construct, and he's copied a Titan already. So he's gonna dome me for 15. And I'm at 13. And I'm like, oh yeah, you just got this. Okay, I didn't see this coming, but oh well. Game 2, slam a turn 3. No. So I go turn 2 Psychic Frog. And then he bounces it with Otawara, and I'm like, okay, I have a Flood Moon in hand, but I'm just gonna play this frog instead.
Yeah. You played the frog again,
and that's a mistake. I should have just slammed the Flood Moon, and just beat this. I dare you to beat this.
I think though, didn't he end up dismembering the frog before you got your Flood Moon down? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because I was watching you because I was bored.
Yeah, also because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Because you were out. And there's two matches, and you could either watch Jeskai Control versus Nadu or Murktide versus Titan, an actually exciting matchup.
And Murktide, a deck that I actually have.
Yeah.
Versus 2 decks I don't have.
Yeah. So I don't think so. I want to say no, I didn't.
Okay.
But I can't say for sure.
I know he did it on one of them.
He did it on. It was game 3. He for sure did it. So yeah, he goes. So I go. So he gets out Nadu, and I'm like, well, fuck. I might be dead here. I might just be dead here, and I'm an idiot because I'm just so stupid. I should just fucking play this goddamn Harbinger and just been done with it. The game would have been so closed. The door would have slammed shut. We'd be on to game 3. There's not even a question in my mind. But I still scratch through. I make Frog a 5/6, I think.
Yeah,
and
he's huge.
A huge fucking frog.
Yeah.
And my opponent just can't do anything about it. So it's like, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to game 3. Game 3. My opponent goes, okay, dismember target frog. I go, turn 2 frog. He goes, dismember target frog. And I'm like, I'm staring at a hand of like, I want to say like,
it was a bunch of cantrips and like stuff that
it was
wouldn't
like
really matter.
It was like preordain 2 lands, one of which Undercity Sewers, Watery Grave, Long Goodbye, and then I think Harbinger of the Seas or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, he's like, surely you don't want to pitch 4 cards to your frog, and I'm like,
Actually,
no, I think I do. So I pitched 4 cards to Frog. He's like, all right, pass. And then
it was the best decision you made.
The best decision I could have made because it's fucking clocking him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what happened? After that, he Odawaras my frog. After I slam a Harbinger, and I'm just like, I mean, whatever.
You at least had your basic swamp, though.
I had my basic swamp so I could replay the frog.
Yeah.
And, like, keep up pressure. And as long as he wasn't playing creatures, I was okay. He eventually gets to 2 lands, and he slams an Endurance. And I'm just, after I swing, and I'm like, I've been prepared for this moment. And I just counterspell it. And then, so we move back, so we go back, and we're just passing back and forth. And eventually, we're getting to the apex of the game where he has 1 turn left. Like, I have like 5 cards in hand, and I have a 2/3 frog and a 2/2 Harbinger on the battlefield, so he has to deal with both of them or he's dead.
Yeah.
And so he just goes Summoner. He just goes, all right, Summoner's Pact. And I have a Sink and a Stupor in hand, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is fine. Get whatever you want. He's like, all right, prime time? And I'm like, nah, we're going to Sink and Stupor that. He's like, yeah, you got it. So
yeah, because he couldn't pay for Summoner Pact, right?
Well, he could. He had Double Forest.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But like, I could just kill him on the next turn because I can just ditch 3 cards and deal
your damages,
deal my damage, and just be done with the game. So yeah, with that, I officially got my slot. I am qualified for one of the 2 US RCs.
Woo!
Whether that be Portland or Charlotte. Likely Charlotte will be my primary, and then if I can, I'll go to Portland.
Nice.
If I qualify again. But yeah, very exciting. I know people will likely minimize it, be like, it was only 11 people.
But it was also a 2-seater.
It was also a 2-seater. So like, I mean,
you were probably going either way.
How minimized could I possibly be? But like,
yeah.
In reality, 5-0 on the day.
I want to say I was pretty proud of myself because, all right, everybody I lost to was in the top 4.
And I beat everybody in the top 4.
And you did beat everybody.
I beat.
My journey to date was hard.
Yeah, so was mine.
Yours was too, but I'm trying to make myself feel better because I didn't get the wins.
So yeah, Murktide good. Today was one of those rare days where I felt like I was for sure the best player in the room.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I've said it before, I don't remember if it was on the podcast or just to you, but like, Murktide rewards you for being the best player in the room. And again, like I said, feeling like it might have just been for today. Tomorrow I could be the worst fucking player of all time. But today I feel like being the best player in the room, it just felt great.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen when you have 11 players. Like, of course, you're going to be better than a lot. I felt like after round 1, I was better than probably like 7 of them.
Yeah, it also feels too, like you said, there's that car full of people who brought non-meta decks as well, which really left everybody who was playing meta decks to like fight at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was really interesting.
And fortunately, the Bogles player fucking lost.
Oh, yeah.
I would have
There was Bogles.
So cooked.
There was Bogles.
So cooked versus that guy.
He lost to Nadu, thank goodness.
Thank God. I was so happy.
You couldn't deal with him. I couldn't deal with him.
I couldn't beat him. You couldn't beat him. I don't think Jeskai Control could beat him.
Yeah, they could. Wrath of the Skies kills it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They have.
Yeah.
They have sweepers. Yeah, Toxic Deluge doesn't do anything, so...
it can if you're early enough.
If you're early, but it's 3 mana, and by that time they have like 4 enchantments attached. Yeah. So, like, who cares? But yeah, thank God that Bogles player was not in top 4. I would have... Yeah,
that would have been hard.
I hate my life.
You would have had to play everything out, too.
I hate it here so much. But yeah, so that was the RCQ today.
You big old carpetbagger.
Yeah. It was funny. Stu comes in. He's like, "What other carpetbaggers do we have here?" Not knowing that the ultimate carpetbagger was right behind him, a man who flew an hour and a half, or actually under an hour, to be to Pittsburgh just to play in an RCQ that was an hour away from his house.
Oh my God, yeah.
Legitimately, the ultimate carpetbagger right here.
Hell yeah.
All right, so with all that talking out of the way, it's time for more talking. Let's talk about band predictions. So, obviously, our main format is Modern, so we're going to start with that. Bill?
Yeah, I think it's very obvious on at least one band being Nadu. The one that I think is a little more than 50%, I'd give it probably like a 70% chance of a ban is the One Ring. And I'm basing this on the fact that at the most recent Modern PT, it was in 50. I think it was over 50% of the decks.
Something like that. Yeah.
Had at least a copy of the One Ring. The results on Magic Online are going to show that it's rampant in the leagues because all the Eldrazi's are playing them. All even Boros. Boros Energy has adopted it. You're saying if it's not banned, you're just going to jam it in
100%.
In Murktide?
Yep, don't care. Don't care if I have no life gain. Don't give a shit. I'm just going to jam it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's about a 70% chance. I kind of hope that they do because it's just gross. Those are my biggest ones. I think Grief might have a little bit on it. Because if you ban the Ring and Nadu, that kind of opens the window back up for like a scam variant of some kind. I think to start pushing a little more, because Control will die without the Ring.
Control will die.
Yeah.
100%.
So that brings like, I'm trying to think what else dies without the Ring. Eldrazi's die without the Ring.
No, Eldrazi's are just a bit more all in.
That's true. Yeah. Eldrazi's won't be able to stall the game out, and so they can't bide time. Eldrazi Prison actually might be better than at that time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but that's kind of my thoughts.
All right, so I mirror you on Nadu. I think Nadu is 100% BAM. For obvious reasons, play patterns. You had there was Apex, and it was won by Nadu, and that's not the point. The point is explaining the combo took 5 minutes, and one of the players was like, "No, I want you to explain the fucking loop.
Yeah,
explain the loop. Tell me what you're doing, so that way I could follow along and know." And they did it both games when they got looped. It didn't matter. They were just like, "Show me. Tell me. I need to see this." And that's fine. That's within your right as a player, but
it sucks.
When those take forever, we don't need that shit. Fortunately, we didn't have too many matches go to time. in
I
today?
had two
I know you
myself.
had two because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the unhealthy play pattern of Nadu just needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, what was nice was the Nadu player at today's event was like, this is the loop, this is how I do it, and then like after he also presented his deck so you could look at it, because like he's gonna loop, you need to be able to see what's in his deck.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, like I said, and like I'm somebody who knows the loop, so I was just like, yeah, just show me the spring card. I don't give a shit after that.
Yeah.
And then another card that should be banned is the One Ring. It is now too prevalent where the best aggro deck in the format is now playing it as a backup tool to eventually get into the late game.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Fable in that slot is better from the sense that like I'm fine with it existing because Fable is a mid-range card, not a late game card.
Yeah.
So like giving them like a couple mid-range tools along with like
Flage.
No, not Flage, because Flage is a late game tool. Along with Obnixilus for Mardu, like having a couple mid game tools, I think is fine.
Yeah.
Having a late game tool, I think is egregious. And like after I saw the Boros ring deck, the Boros Energy with ring deck, I was just like, yeah, this is enough. I've had enough of this shit. I love like I said, I love the 20 card package of Psychic Frog, Bowman, 16 card package. Psychic Frog, Bowman, Shieldred, Ring. That's such a great package. That's fantastic. Yeah. But like I can't with this anymore. It just has to go. I was talking to my Dimir Control opponent. He's like, I haven't practiced this format in forever. So I have no idea. But like I played Ring and I was like, well, I mean it is like the great stabilizer of the format. Like
it is. Yeah.
Like it will get people wins that have no right deserving a win.
Yeah.
And I think that is by itself the reason it should be banned. I know people will be like, well, what about this card? Well, what about this card? No card is as prevalent. No card is as generic as the One Ring is.
Yeah. Yeah. If they would have phrased the wording on the card differently to limit it to just a single card in a deck, I think it would still be seen a lot of play. I do not think it would be a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's one.
It's one.
Yeah.
And then the final card that I definitely think should go, I can't see it though, was mentioned previously, is Flage. The problem with Flage, and I remember saying this pre Boros Energy deck showing up, it was like, boy, Burn getting a Lightning Helix on a stick and having some inevitability, that's fine. Like, I'm good with that, because Burn did need that, and I still maintain that Burn still should be playing Flage, and if they're not playing Flage, they're probably wrong. But along those lines, Boros Energy is an aggro deck that was already playing a mid-range piece in
Fable,
and another mid-range piece in Blood Moon. So, like, I'm back to I'm fine with aggro decks having a couple mid-range pieces. I'm fine with mid-range decks having both aggro and late game pieces. I'm fine with Control having a little bit of early game pieces, a little bit of mid game pieces, and then a lot of late game pieces. But when the aggro decks are sprinkling in too many late game pieces,
yeah,
like Flage, therefore making it so that Boros Energy is no longer just like a glass cannon, you've board wiped me once, I guess the game's over type of deck.
Yeah.
Steering it away from that and then being able to restabilize while being a 6/6, I think that's a little too much. I'm sure people are going to disagree with me on that, and that's fine. I understand.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very strong card. I honestly, if it gets banned, I'm not upset. If it stays, I'm not upset.
Yeah. My only concern is that the power vacuum that the One Ring and Nadu going clearly leads towards an energy variant becoming the best deck in the format. And and it's so obvious. It's so obvious that energy is going to be the next best deck in the format. but like, what else do you ban from that deck? Like,
yeah,
a Johnny is the next strongest card in that list, and that card I don't think is ban worthy.
I honestly don't think a Johnny's the next strongest card. I honestly think it's Guide of Souls. Because it gives your guys +2/+2 and flying repeatedly, and it can just do it on the turn it comes in, right? Like, it doesn't have to attack, it's just whatever else attacks.
Yeah, it gives you energy that you could then fuel your
and life
charges
gain.
And your static prisons, plus the incidental life gain, turning on the Ocelot Pride. I can understand that.
Yeah, but like at the same time though, like if they ban the Flage, like that's also why I think it's okay to ban the Flage. like you still have the life gain in that and the Pride. I think it's fine. I think it's fine to ban it. I don't think I would be upset. Like, if that happens, like, Jeskai Control needs to figure out...
Oh, Jeskai Control's dead. You cannot play Jeskai Control because they don't have a late game now.
Yeah, they don't have a late game.
It would have to go back to Blue-White, and even then, Blue-White, like, I just feel like Control has to go back to the drawing board and be like, what the fuck do we do now?
Yeah.
And maybe that is a reason you don't ban the ring?
Maybe, yeah, if they ban Flage and not the ring... I could kind of see that, but like something else has to happen then, because like
you can't just let ring, because if you ban Flage, then Boros Energy drops, and then you have Tron, Dimir Control, Jeskai Control,
Eldrazi,
Tron and Eldrazi just roll into one.
Oh, okay,
but like any of like the late game ring decks, like I could actually even see Omnath come back.
Yeah, that's an entire possibility.
So like I don't know. It depends on how they want to approach the format. I just feel like the ring play patterns of people winning games that they should not have won because of one particular card that time walks your opponent, draws you 3 additional cards for
multiple times today. I against, or at least against Jeskai Control, it was like he drew the ring with the ring and was able to recast the ring.
Yeah, I got triple ring by Jeskai Control. Still beat him through it. But,
right, yeah.
Because I had exactly Harbinger of the Seas in the battlefield.
Right.
So like if I don't have that, I just lose the game.
Yeah, it's awful if you don't have a way to just fight through it.
So those are what I would like. I Nadu for sure, mostly sure about the One Ring. Doubtful that Flage gets hit. But we'll see. Especially because, like, if Nadu gets hit, why would you hit Flage? Which is going to hurt product sales. Like, they do, let's be clear, they do think about product sales.
They do, yeah.
100% think about product sales. So, like, if you get rid of Flage, like, what's the incentive to really buy MH3?
Ocelot Pride.
True.
Yeah, like, the only other thing I'll kind of say about the ring and why I hope it gets banned is it makes bad decks feel really good.
Yeah.
Right, like remember like Coffers, like last season, like that's a bad deck.
Bad deck.
That's a bad deck, but they jammed the ring, so they won a lot of games because they were just able to just let me just draw a billion cards and get to my pieces.
You know why? Shieldred.
Yeah.
Ring. Bowmaster package.
Right.
Is excellent. I swear to you, if like there's no reason not to run that package
if you have the colors.
If you have the colors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like it's also just like it's just a bad deck if you take the ring away.
Yeah, I say as I'm in those colors, don't play that exact.
You don't
package.
Need to because you can
I
out
love
tempo.
Slamming my fucking 8/8. It's just it's my
how many times did you have a 7+ Murktide on turn 2?
On turn 2, never.
Oh, never. Oh
no, it only happens against Mill, and that's yeah. That's not possible. Yeah, that's not possible. Like you could like fetch, surveil, hit an instant or sorcery, and that's as good as you can do.
Considers.
Yeah.
Get rid of poopy things.
No.
Okay, I don't know. I've been able to resolve turn 2 Murktides before.
That's not right. There's no way that's possible.
Pitch shit to Frog. Well, I guess you can't pitch shit to Frog.
Because Frog is turn 2.
Maybe it's turn 3.
Turn 3?
Sorry.
Yeah,
maybe I'm thinking turn 3.
Turn 3, you do it pretty fucking frequently. But Turn
Mobby.
4, turn 2, no, never.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for modern though. Like, if they ban anything else outside of that, yeah, I'd be shocked. Like, yeah, because maybe Soul Spike.
No,
I
that's
don't,
a cost-related
yeah.
ban. I think cost-related bans are stupid and bad.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that. I think it was more so just to try to keep the black deck, mono black.
If Ring goes, Necro Dominance is nowhere near as dominant.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because then they're just relying on Necro Dominance for their card draw.
Correct.
And they have to think more about their mulligans.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Pioneer Amalia.
Yeah, people keep talking about Amalia. I don't know. I haven't looked at Pioneer since my last RCQ with it.
I think the 3 bans clearly are, and Phoenix Contingent, shut the fuck up. Amalia, Sorin, and Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because they're not going to want to ban the big guy in the Sorin
Vein
deck.
Ripper.
Vein Ripper, yeah.
Vein Ripper is still in a set that is on shelves.
Yeah. Well, and like Vein Ripper's okay if you reanimate it from the grave, cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I have at least a chance to interact before you do that.
Yep. Versus Sorin, where it's like, all right, we're tempoing out. Oh, you just had nuts on turn 3? Well, GG.
Yep.
Next.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can see that. Treasure Cruise, people have been calling for forever.
We have the Surveillance, Consider exists. It just needs to go at this point, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Like, you have your clear top 3 of Amalia, Rakdos, Vampires, Phoenix. All right? If you hit only 2 of those and you leave Phoenix alone, Phoenix is now unequivocally best deck.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like they don't look at Phoenix as like a thing we can't touch, because like didn't there used to be what's the Phoenix deck that used to run Buried Alive in Modern?
Buried Alive just got printed in the Modern.
Oh, it's not Buried Alive then. It would have been I don't know. There was some Phoenix deck in Modern before MH2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, the Horizon sets pushed everything. So everything that was good in Modern and is Pioneer legal got pushed to Pioneer, and that's why Phoenix is good. But yeah, Treasure Cruise, needs to go.
That's fine.
It's too much. Giving a deck Ancestral Recall in Pioneer is insanity.
Yeah.
So please.
Give us more 1-drops that counter those things. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't have anything else to say about Pioneer. I haven't really looked at it.
I don't either, but
Legacy's another big one though that people are expecting bans in. And I think that it's pretty much like just known that they're going to try and ban Grief, I think.
You know what I find really funny? When people were talking about Legacy and Grief, it's like, why don't we see a scam package with Grief and Legacy? And people were like, because Grief sucks. Grief sucks. This card's terrible. Why would you play it in Legacy? Here we are, like a year and a half later. People are like, wow, what a card this Grief is. Why don't we ban it? It's like,
yeah,
cool.
It's, like, and that's the thing. Like, you don't even need to scam it. You could just pitch it and then reanimate it at your leisure.
Yep.
So like, it's like, I don't know. People are complaining about it. I don't think it's terrible, but if they get rid of it, unfortunately, my Oops All Spells deck gets much worse.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so that's like the only reason why I don't want it banned.
Ban Frog instead, then.
So that's actually, people are talking like, look, we're seeing blue-black Reanimator decks without Grief now, all pushing Frog. Like, let's get rid of Frog. And it's like, okay, like you guys can't like ban everything.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But like at the same time, it's like Frog is a huge threat, but like if Grief gets banned, if just Grief gets banned, I think that opens up the windows because people are starting to experiment with energy in Legacy. For some energy-based removal through Wrath of the Skies.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a lot easier to splash colors in Legacy than it is other formats.
Yep. I agree.
So,
I agree with that. Like Legacy is the one format where you can run god awful mana bases.
Oh yeah,
it's probably okay.
It's okay, but it's not like because I mean there's Wasteland, right? The Wasteland decks keep those decks honest.
Let's
go Delver. Actually, also the blueback reanimate decks. Let's go.
Oh.
But like yeah, like there's also just mono white or mono colored temple decks. Is it no ancient tomb decks?
Yeah.
To just
you're
jam shit out.
You're probably turboing out initiative cards.
You could be turboing out initiative cards. Could be turboing out hate pieces. For a stack style deck, yeah. Like it is what it is. And then there's Boros shit too. I don't know. I think that's really the only two cards though to look at in Legacy is because you don't want to take Reanimate out.
No,
and people are talking about taking out Reanimate. It's like, well, take out Reanimate. That's the problem. It's like, okay, so you're just gonna make me wait an additional turn to just cast Animate Dead. Like, is that yeah? I don't know.
Is Psychic Frog the best 2-drop since Dreadhorde Arcanist in Legacy?
There are arguments that it's similar because of the card advantage it provides.
That's what I'm saying is like because Dreadhorde I think can get back anything, or is it only instant and sorcery?
I think it's instant and sorceries only from the graveyard.
You can like brainstorm with fucking Dreadhorde. You can fucking
exactly.
Mental misstep with Dreadhorde or whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah.
Dreadhorde was great, from what I hear. But like, I look at the card and I think of the card pool in Legacy, and I'm like, yeah, this card's fucking insane. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's so many like just cheap cards to be able to pull out with it. So it's like Frog is similar in the fact that it gets you card advantage as well as you could just become huge, and we don't care what tries to block us.
No, become immense.
Fuck that card. But like that's the thing. Like people need to like start looking more at like the Fatal Push style cards of removal. Unfortunately, other decks that are running red and blue, they don't have that kind of thing. They don't have like
that's not true.
They don't have a kill this card if it's mana value X or less.
Correct. They don't have that, but you know what blue does have? Vapor Snag.
Return it to hand.
Bounces it to hand, deals 1 damage to target creature's controller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that's 2 mana, isn't it?
1 mana.
Oh, it's 1 mana. Nice.
1 mana.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. Yeah, like maybe people haven't explored that kind of stuff yet, but like that'd have to be a sideboard card. But if it's the best deck in the format at over 50%, then it needs to be a main board.
Yeah. Well, Vapor Snag is just generally good though. Good because it's just target creature. It doesn't fucking matter.
That's true.
The size of it is
or if it's a token.
Yeah, just bounce this motherfucker, and you're just like.
And you get to deal a little damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love tempo plays.
It's nice. Yeah, tempos are great. I hope Frog doesn't eat the ban as well, and that they just ban Grief and see how things pan out.
No, ban Frog. Give me all your retro frames.
No.
Yeah. Fuck you guys.
No. Yeah, because like I don't know. Like I also have the Dimir Reanimate deck, like 90% done. So it's like, please don't just take the entire deck away from me. Like, don't take Legacy away by this with banning both of those.
Get ready to sell your Underground Seeds, buddy.
Which I don't have.
No.
Because I was probably just going to run the like a Shadow variant with Shocks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's it for Legacy. Do you know what might be banned in Pauper?
I don't think anything is bannable in Pauper.
The only thing I could maybe think of is Writhing Chrysalis. That's becoming large and in charge.
No, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't see it. They're also not beholden to the same ban window.
That's true too. Yeah, they're not.
And they have said that multiple times, as they are not beholden to that ban window.
That's true.
So I don't know. I'm not paying attention enough to the Pauper metagame. I don't think it's Writhing Chrysalis is that bad, but I don't know.
There's some loops. They aren't quite infinite, but they get very like. It's like Writhing Chrysalis and one other card get you an enormous Eldrazi token. Like you sack the token and get one colorless spawn army. You just get a huge one. Like you can get up to 40.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then you get a bunch of counters when you sack them.
Yeah, that sounds
put
right.
onto the Writhing Chrysalis. So then you have this big 40/40 bro.
All right, well.
And you can just magically give it trample somehow. But
good luck.
yeah, I know. I don't know.
That sounds like some fucking magical Christmas bullshit.
I have no idea. I keep seeing screenshots of it. That's the only thing I've kind of seen, but I think Pauper overall is fairly healthy. It seems like there's been a lot of like meta shifts, even with the new cards coming out.
Yeah.
And like a return of like mono blue Delver.
Yep.
So that's cool.
I have no opinion. I haven't paid attention enough to Pauper,
Yeah.
so I can't say one way or the other. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Unban all the cards that you want banned.
Yeah.
Or, unban everything.
Vintage.
Bring back Swiss beer.
Vintage will be.
Bring back Swiss beer. Fuck you guys.
Vintage will probably have no touch.
It's vintage. Who
Yeah,
cares?
nobody plays it. Anything else?
Standard. I think we're too early in standard.
Yeah, isn't this the yearly rotation window that they banned?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they might ban something, but I haven't paid enough attention since the standard season dropped off.
Depends on how prevalent the Vraska Innkeeper's talent combo is.
That could be.
I think that's a feels bad man standard, but also it's like a fuck ton of mana to even get to.
Okay, and also kind of thinking about Morrow's recent post, like his Magic Year in Review, and there was something specifically with like the Wicked Roll token stuff. Like those tokens specifically were like a very confusing thing for players, and in Standard right now, I think it's Monstrous Rage is like the most prevalent one. I don't think it's ban worthy, but it might just get taken out just as this is kind of like just a shitty card because people are complaining about it or something. I don't know.
Sure, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't follow enough of Standard, but like if I was to say anything, it would be like the Innkeeper's Vraska combo. If that's oppressive, I don't know if it is. If it's not, then just ignore this. But if it is, then yeah, you got to hit that combo.
Yeah, because they don't like in Standard. They don't like the like infinite or just like I resolve this turn and you die. Yeah. So that's fine.
It's great for my Carthage Commander deck, though. I'll tell you that.
Fantastic.
I haven't used that combo yet, but like the second I saw that for Standard, I'm like, well, I'm putting that in Carth.
Yeah, I don't have any Commander decks really right now.
Carth just stays in my rotation. He's always there, and then I'm always kind of like looking to pick up pieces for him at any time. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I want this Innkeeper's talent. Give me this.
Nice. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it. So thank you, everybody, for listening / watching. We really appreciate it. If you would, on the YouTube side, give us a like or subscribe. Ring the bell to get notifications for whenever this podcast goes live. If you're watching this before the ban list has officially dropped for all the formats, stay tuned for our ban list video reaction thing, where we'll be back in pretty much these exact same positions on Monday to talk about what WotC did or didn't do and the repercussions of such actions.
Yay.
But until that time, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching again. And we will see you next Tuesday. And by that I mean keep calm and spike on.